Today, we're diving into the world of Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coins, but with a twist. We're looking at the top 4 Lincoln cents you can find in bad condition, their surprising values, and the fascinating history behind each. So, don't toss out that rusty penny just yet. First up, the 1973 Lincoln 1-cent coin is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series that began in 1909. This coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, replacing the earlier wheat ears reverse. The 1973 penny was minted primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, as well as the Denver Mint, with the Philadelphia coins generally bearing no mint mark, and Denver coins marked with a small D. The 1973 cent is made of a bronze composition, 95% copper, with 5% zinc and tin. Unlike modern pennies, which have shifted to predominantly zinc cores, with a copper plating starting in 1982, the 1973 penny remains a solid bronze coin. This composition gives it a distinctive weight and sound compared to newer pennies. Despite being a relatively common coin with millions minted, the 1973 penny holds historical value as a snapshot of American coinage during the early 1970s. This era saw the United States transitioning through significant cultural and economic changes, and the coin circulated widely during this period. Now, when it comes to condition, most 1973 pennies found today are heavily circulated and show various signs of wear and damage. Bad condition coins often have significant surface wear, scratches, discoloration, corrosion, or even environmental damage. In these states, the fine details of Lincoln's face and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse are often worn smooth, making it difficult to distinguish mint marks or small details. Collectors often refer to these as poor, good, or about good grades, which are at the lower end of the coin grading scale. In terms of value, a 1973 penny in bad condition is generally worth only its face value, 1 cent, because it was minted in vast numbers. There is no particular rarity or minting error associated with the 1973 Lincoln cent that would significantly boost its value in heavily worn condition. That said, some collectors may pay a small premium for coins that are in better condition, or those with unique die errors or minting anomalies, but such finds are extremely rare for this year. For example, any 1973 Lincoln cent with unusual die cracks, double strikes, or off-center strikes could attract some interest, but again, the vast majority of 1973 pennies in poor condition remain worth only a penny. Due to their bronze composition, they can sometimes be mistaken for older pennies by casual collectors, but their value is firmly tied to condition and rarity. Next up, the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent coin is part of the iconic Lincoln cent series that has been in continuous production since 1909. This particular coin features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side, like most Lincoln cents minted from 1959 to 2008, displays the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to the 16th president and a symbol of unity and freedom. The coin was produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with the Philadelphia coins lacking a mint mark and the Denver ones marked with a D. Made primarily of bronze, the 1980 penny contains 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, giving it a solid, substantial feel. This composition was standard until 1982, after which the U.S. Mint switched to a predominantly zinc core with a thin copper plating to reduce production costs. Because of this, 1,980 pennies are heavier and more durable than their modern counterparts. In terms of circulation, the 1980 Lincoln cent was produced in large quantities, with hundreds of millions minted that year, making it a very common coin in everyday use. During 1980, the United States was undergoing economic challenges such as inflation and energy crises, and pennies like this one continued to facilitate daily commerce and transactions. When a 1980 penny is found in bad condition, it typically shows significant wear from decades of circulation. These pennies often have smooth surfaces where the details of Lincoln's face and the Lincoln Memorial have faded, along with scratches, discoloration, or corrosion caused by exposure to moisture and handling. In coin grading terms, these examples might be categorized as good or about good, which are among the lowest grades indicating heavy wear. Regarding value, a 1980 Lincoln cent in poor condition usually holds only its face value of 1 cent. Because so many were minted, and because there are no widely known rare varieties or minting errors from this year that significantly increase value, worn 1980 pennies are not considered valuable by most collectors. However, collectors sometimes seek out coins with specific die errors or unique characteristics, but such anomalies are rare for the 1980 penny. Occasionally, 1,980 pennies may display minor errors such as doubled dies, weak strikes, or off-center strikes. These can add a small premium in value, but again, these are uncommon and generally not found in heavily worn coins. Therefore, the vast majority of 1980 pennies you come across in bad condition will be worth just a penny. Despite their low monetary value, these worn pennies represent the tangible history of everyday American life. Each one has passed through countless hands, seen years of economic changes, and remained a constant in the nation's currency. While the 1980 Lincoln cent in bad condition might not be worth much to collectors, it still holds value as a piece of history. Next up, the 1990 Lincoln 1 cent coin is part of the famous Lincoln cent series, which has been continuously minted since 1909. This coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side of the 1990 penny displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design used from 1959 until 2008 to honor the 16th president and symbolize unity and freedom. In 1990, pennies were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, while Denver coins bear a small D on the obverse. The 1990 penny is made primarily of copper-plated zinc, a significant change from earlier pennies. In 1982, the U.S. Mint switched from the traditional bronze composition to mostly zinc, with a thin copper plating to save on rising copper costs. As a result, 1990 pennies weigh less than their pre-1982 bronze counterparts, but still maintain a classic copper color and appearance. The 1990 Lincoln cent was minted in extremely high quantities. Hundreds of millions of coins were produced, making it one of the most common pennies from this era. Because of their sheer numbers and commonality, these pennies were primarily intended for everyday transactions. They circulated widely across the United States during a time marked by economic growth and technological advances. Yet their design remained a steady symbol of American heritage. When a 1990 penny is found in bad condition, it often shows heavy wear and tear from decades of circulation. In poor condition, the coin's fine details may be severely faded. Lincoln's face can appear smooth or nearly featureless, and the lines of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse can be worn flat. The coin may also exhibit scratches, discoloration, environmental corrosion, or dirt accumulation. Collectors usually classify such heavily worn coins under low grades like good or about good, which represent significant circulation and damage. In terms of value, a 1990 penny in bad condition is generally worth only its face value, 1 cent. Because these pennies were produced in massive quantities and lack any major rare errors or unique varieties from this year, heavily circulated examples hold little numismatic value beyond their use as currency. The market demand for these coins in poor condition is very low, and most collectors look for better preserved examples if they want to add 1990 pennies to their collections. However, there are rare instances where a 1990 penny might carry some extra value. These include coins with notable mint errors such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks. Though these errors do exist in very limited numbers, they are seldom found in heavily worn coins because such imperfections are easier to identify on cleaner, sharper coins. Therefore, any value premium from errors on a 1990 penny would usually come from better condition examples. Even though a badly worn 1990 penny is unlikely to be worth more than its face value, it still has historical and sentimental value. These coins are physical reminders of the everyday economy of the late 20th century and represent the long-lasting tradition of the Lincoln Cent series. Each penny carries a small piece of American history, having passed through countless hands over the years. Next up, the 1967 Lincoln 1-cent coin is a notable example from the long-standing Lincoln Cent series, which began in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. This coin features the classic portrait of Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has been a defining image on the penny for over a century. The reverse side of the 1967 penny shows the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to replace the original wheat ears reverse. This design remained in use until 2008, making the 1967 penny part of a significant era in U.S. coinage. In 1967, all Lincoln cents were minted exclusively at the Philadelphia Mint. No Denver or San Francisco mint pennies were produced this year, which is somewhat unusual for U.S. coinage. This means that all 1967 pennies lack a mint mark, making them easy to identify. The coin was composed of bronze, which is 95% copper, and 5% tin and zinc, a composition used for pennies minted before 1982. This gives the coin a distinctive reddish-brown appearance and a heavier weight compared to pennies produced after 1982, which switched to a zinc core with copper plating. The 1967 penny was minted during a turbulent time in American history, amid social change and economic challenges. Despite this, the Lincoln cent remained a consistent presence in everyday transactions, circulating widely throughout the country. When a 1967 penny is found in bad condition, it usually shows heavy signs of wear. These pennies may be significantly worn down, with Lincoln's facial features and the details of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse becoming smooth or barely visible. Badly worn coins may also have scratches, discoloration, corrosion, or other damage from decades of circulation. In coin grading terms, these coins might be classified as good or about good, which are low grades indicating significant wear. In terms of value, a 1967 penny in bad condition generally holds little value above its face value of 1 cent. Since millions were minted, and there are no major rare varieties or errors for this year, worn 1967 pennies are common and not highly sought after by collectors. The large quantity produced means these coins are widely available, so unless the coin is in exceptional condition or has a unique error, it typically has no premium value. There are, however, rare exceptions involving mint errors such as doubled dies or die cracks, but these are extremely uncommon for 1967 pennies and usually command interest only if found in better condition. For heavily worn coins, Such errors are difficult to detect, and such coins do not usually command a premium.